Sup guys, ClimaxCombo here, back at it again with another deck profile. It's your boy Domo presenting my English Tokyo Revengers deck, based around the two best boys in the series, Peh-yan and Pah-chin. It's a very straightforward deck. We're just going to go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and start with the level zeros. You're running 4 of the blue 00 Mikey, 4 of the yellow Mikey. You got 4 of the 00 Bajis and 4 of the 00 Muchos. 3 of these cards are all in service of getting as much of your deck into your waiting room as possible. They don't really do much of anything else. The only one that stands out, really, or rather the only 2 that stand out are the 2 Mikeys. This Mikey in particular gets really big. He gets 1k per opponent, so he can knock over big things. That's all he really does. And this Mikey is a stock suicider that also prevents running. So a little bit of utility in the level 0, but as I mentioned, all they really do is get as much of the waiting room into, or much of the cards in your deck into the waiting room as possible to service your level 1, which is where your deck really, really shines. For level 1s, we've got 4 of the Peh-yan, got 4 of the 10 TD Drakens, 4 of the 10 TD events. The events just let you grab things. You mill 2, you grab something in the waiting room. More than likely, you're grabbing the Peh-yans, because like I said, it's what the deck revolves around. Draken, very much in the same boat. Resonates with the level 3, TD Mikey to get 5 things from the deck into the waiting room. So yeah, just more milling, just get as much things into the waiting room. And now we can talk about what the deck is really, really about. The only thing in this deck that makes it as easy and fun to play as possible. So, you got your Peh-yans, you got your Pah-chins. You send your Pah-chins to the waiting room, Peh-yan will send them back. You brainstorm till you hit 1 Pah-chin, maybe you hit 2 Pah-chins if you're luck sacking like a god. And that is what you're going to be sitting on for 90% of the game. Peh-yan will give, per Peh-yan, these Pah-chins will get plus 4k globally. So, typical setup you're going to see in this deck, and that your opponent will be staring at for a good portion of the match, is this. You've got 3 16-5 beaters, and you've got just 2 Peh-yan sitting in the back, giving Pah-chin the cheerleading support that he needs to beat people up. The thing about this is that these Pah-chins are only 1 soul. A lot of the time you'll just be swinging in to kill your opponent's front row if they haven't already just crashed themselves into you. And a lot of the time you're doing 1 and then 2 soul damage if it's clear. Super straightforward. Not really anything else to talk about it. There are no combat tricks that are involved between levels 1 to 3, really. But I guess there are a couple of things to talk about at the level 3. We'll go ahead and touch on that now. So, at level 3, we've got 1 of this 3-2 Chifuyu, 1 of the 3-2 Draken and Mikey, 4 of the TD 3-2 Mikeys, and then 4 of the TD 3-4 events. Really, like the Chifuyu and the Draken and Mikey are a little bit of utility. If for whatever reason you don't have 3 Pah-chins on the board, they do a couple of things. Chifuyu does have a little bit of a trick where you can stock swap them. It does help if your opponent is playing super optimally. Their stock is clean. Go ahead and just clean that out. Hopefully you hit a couple of climaxes You'll get some damage through with the 1 souls that your Pah-chins have. And then, of course, the Draken and Mikey comes into play. You get a little bit of a heal, and then he does do 2 damage when he attacks. So if you have somehow some trouble getting through, you have a little bit of a finisher on this Draken and Mikey. 3/2 Mikey, another super simple card. On play, you just drop it, and then you heal. Like, it's just another healing card. It does have a Climax combo. I don't currently run the Climax with it, but it is another finisher that you can use if you do choose to use the Climax. I'll go into that when I go over the Climax choices for this deck. And then really the only combat trick of the deck are these events. So as long as you've got your Pah-chins on the board, you're going to maintain a lot of hand size. This card is going to let you use that hand size to your advantage. If they keep front attacking you, which they will if they want to do damage to you, you can prevent that damage and turn it on them. A lot of decks these days, as I've been informed, don't really require reversing things, so they can side attack you if they have enough soul damage to push through, and they have their Climax combos to do damage to you. But as long as they're front attacking, that's really where this card shines, and you have the opportunity to keep yourself alive if you find yourself in a weird situation where they do overpower your Pah-chins. Now we'll go over the Climax choices for this deck. So this deck runs 8 choice triggers. With the Pah-chins on the board, you're not going to have a lot of opportunities to Climax combo. These are really just to help you build your advantage. You get to put things in your stock, or you get to grab those triggers back to your hand. They're really just there to push whatever advantage you can while you've got the Pah-chins on the board. Alternatively, if you wish to use the Climax combo, you do have the Pants trigger Climax for the Mikey that will let you mill their bottom of the deck and burn them for the Climaxes that you hit. So it is an option. Issue with that is if you're triggering these Pants, you're going to be grabbing Climaxes to your hand, and because you're not playing anything, you've got your Pah-chins and your Peh-yans on the board, you don't really have a good way to get them into the waiting room other than just playing them. But I guess the caveat to that is it does give you the incentive to play the Climaxes so that you can do that additional soul damage that the Pah-chins lack overall. If you're a really good player, or rather a Japanese player, then you do have the option of running 8 gates in the deck, where I believe they are the key anniversary gates. You can run them in any deck, and because Tokyo Revengers doesn't have gates in the set, they're your only option for using gates. It is Japanese only, though. As I mentioned, I do play English Tokyo Revengers, so I don't have that option, unfortunately. So guys, that is the Tokyo Revengers deck profile. It's a very easy deck to pilot. There's not too much to think about. Maybe the only thing is just learning the timings on when you want to refresh, because you are going to be milling a lot, as I had mentioned. You're getting as many things into the waiting room as you can so that you can return the Pah-chins and mill them with the Brainstorm. But otherwise, once you get into the groove of things with this deck, it's super straightforward. And you'll have a lot of fun watching your opponents stare at Pah-chin and wonder what to do next. But thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.